This time on the UK Brewery Project, it's Nirvana Brewing Company. The Nirvana Brewery is based in Leighton in East London and was the first UK brewery to produce only no or low alcohol beers. It was founded by Steve Dass and Becky Keane. Becky was into her beer and had got into craft beers whilst visiting San Diego. But when her dad went teetotal, he found the beers that were low or no alcohol were either too sweet, too bland, or too much caffeine. Becky and her brother Joe decided to look into brewing the perfect non-alcoholic beer based off that. They went on a journey around Germany. They visited brauhouses and beer gardens. They then stumbled upon a family-owned 500-year-old brewery with alcoholic beers that they enjoyed. They ended up working with this brewery on creating a recipe for a non-alcoholic beer with just the 4 ingredients of water, malt, hops and yeast. What they produced was a 0.3% 66 calorie lager, which they called Fit Beer. This was launched in the UK in 2016 under their new founded company, which was also called Fit Beer. Steve, on the other hand, had been working for a Belgian brewery as a salesman, and during his travels he'd noticed people asking if he had any good quality low alcohol beers for sale. This set off the idea of looking into that market. He was aware there were big brands such as Beck's who had created, the low alcohol versions of their beers, but there wasn't the craft beer element in low alcohol beers. He founded Nirvana Brewery and set about working on creating a range of no and low alcohol beers which didn't compromise on flavours. The beers were to use local hops and barley, be vegan friendly and gluten free. In October 2015, he launched a crowdfunding campaign to fund the purchase of the specialist equipment he would need and also the facilities. However, this failed. He did see around him the actual other breweries that were producing alcoholic beers being funded. And he wondered, why were they not funding him? Was it because he was low alcohol? In November 2016, Becky reached out to Steve as they had successfully launched their Fit Beer, but were contracting brewing it. Becky invested in Nirvana Brewery and became a co-owner along with Steve. Fit Beer, though, was kept as a separate business on the side. Nirvana was finally established with a premise and equipment, so they had tanks, mash tuns and a tap room. And I understand they're able to produce 1,800 litre batches of beer, which they package into recyclable key kegs and bottles. The brewery launched in April 2017 with the beer names very much feeding off Steve and his calmer elements. You had beers such as Cosmic, Chakra, Sutra and even Karma. They even launched an on-site yoga studio where people could do beer yoga. In November 2018, Steve left the business and went to pursue other interests. Becky became chief executive of the business and her brother-in-law Drew joined the business. That's a lot of business there. In August 2019, the branding underwent a complete redesign. Beer labels kept the colour scheme that you see here for each beer, and they kept their Karma-esque hand logo that you see on the beers, but the beer names were changed to make it clearer what each beer was. Gone was Karma, in came Hoppy Pale Ale. Gone was Cosmic, in came the dark and rich stout, which I feel is very much in following of what industry was doing anyways in naming the beer, just actually what it was. The brewery itself, it calls itself the only alcohol-free brewery in the UK. This is based off the claim that they're the other breweries that brew non-alcoholic beers only don't own their own brewery and they cuckoo brew. in my eyes though, if you're brewing, even if it's not in your own facilities and you're cuckoo brewing, you are a brewery. But their claim is that, although they do state on their FAQ, I think that, they're not diminishing anything else. They're just saying that is their claim. All right. Now you may think, oh, that was weird. That's the end of what I really got to say. I haven't cracked open one of these beers, and the reason why is I'm going to crack open all of them. I'm going to try every single one of these beers, which isn't normal for what I do, but they're all low ABV, so we'll do that. What I will first of all do is just run through quickly the core beer elements and the awards, and then I'll just do the beers at that stage. So what we have is the core beers is the Bavarian Helles Lager, which is actually their flagship beer. You've got the Hoppy Pale Ale. You've got the classic IPA, which is next to that. You've got the organic pale ale, you've got the traditional pale ale, and then the dark and rich stout. And award-wise, this one clearly has a badge around to that stage, or a label, I should say. So this one's a triple award winner. They won bronze at the International Beer Challenge in 2020 for the low no alcohol beer category. It also won silver at the Great Taste Awards, and it won bronze at the World Beer Awards. And I assume it's in that same category of the low no alcohol. It's worthwhile sort of mentioning in the UK, low no alcohol. Well, no alcohol is anything under 0.5%. I use the words low no alcohol because that's just me at that stage. That's what I'm doing. I've lined the beers up in the order that I'm going to do them. I'm going to start with the Bavarian. The reason is because as a lager, it should be lighter. And then as I go through, it won't affect the palate. So I'm going from a light to hoppier, and dark. I have not tried any of their beers, so this is a first for me. I have had other non-alcoholic beers, so I hit and miss at that stage. They're all chilled. Let's get into this. I really should actually have worked out the unit measurement for drinking all of these, but there we go. So first up, the Bavarian Lager, which actually comes in a bigger bottle than all of the rest. What is the measurement on this one? This one is, it's 330ml. It's just a thinner and taller bottle. That's all it is. Oh, confusing. Right, here we go. We are pouring out the Bavarian Lager with a lovely thick head. This one is coming in at 0.3%. They are all, I said, vegan friendly, and I believe they're still gluten free. I don't think they are actually anymore. I think they originally that was the aim. I might have to open one or two at this stage, two side by side, because I realise I've put them in carbonate, put it in a nucleated glass, so it's going to go absolutely crazy. So I open the lighter side first. Right, next it's the traditional pale ale. Double check, traditional, yeah. I'm going to pour this one slower, he says. And the idea is because I don't want to create the bloody Bavarian lager head that I've got there. I'd rather have no carbonation at all than actual carbonation. So what we have is we have two beers on the table. This one with the huge, massive head, and this one with a slight head. And I will get ready to pour that one next. I'm going to have to just dive straight in for this. Oh dear. Smell, oh, yeah, I can smell it straight away. That's not good for me, sorry. I haven't even tasted it and I've got a feeling I know where this is going. It smells like shredded wheat, like a lot of the non-alcoholic lagers do. They get the sugar level correct, they get the malts correct, but it doesn't ferment out fully and you get that sugary, malty taste. All right, let's take off the top. Right, full mouthful of foam. Let's go into the beer now. All right, not as bad as I was expecting. It's not shredded wheat like the St. Peter's, I think, tastes, or someone does. It's not bad, actually. As a lager, it's not, as a no or low alcohol lager, it's not bad. You can definitely tell it's thin. It is thin. There's a slight malt flavour there that disappears very, very quickly. I have to say, I changed my opinion on what I first thought. That's not bad. You can tell it's no alcohol. Unfortunately, I'm going to turn around and say it's. You would, as soon as you drink that, you know it's non-alcoholic at that stage. But it's not offensive, which is immediately a plus. The nose is a bit off-putting. It smells too sweet. Right, now it's time to move on to the traditional. So it's saying it's lightly roasted barley, balanced in crisp hoppy flavour, smooth caramel malt body. And this is, as I say, the traditional pale ale. This one's 0.0%. So even less than that one. I'm expecting it to be thinner because of that. But have they done a good job? Let's smell it. There is some hop nose in there, but unfortunately, I'm getting that bit too sweet malty taste, or nose, I should say. Bit malty, sweet malt, which means like it's like having a malt drink. Right, let's dive in and see. I hope it's much better in taste, just like that one was. Right, the hops are there. There's a hoppy flavour, floral, I should say. This one's weird. I'm not sure. It does feel like it's got the taste of like a super malt, a proper non-alcoholic malt drink. But it's a light super malt with the hop. I don't know whether I really like this or really don't. I could drink this. There's something in that flavour that I really like. I think it's sort of, it's not elderflower, but it's reminding me of sort of like an elderflower drink. Right. I'm going to say, clearly, it's not got alcohol. It's very thin, but oh, it smells a bit better. It smells licoricey. That's what it is. It smells like yeah, the licorice sweets a bit, but very light. Again, you can tell it's not got alcohol in it, but I actually kind of like it. Right, let's move on to number 3, which is quite stiff to get off. Right, this is the organic pale ale. Again, careful with the pour. Not too much head. Perfect. Right, put the cap back on there. And let's try the organic. Again, very clear as we're looking at. This one is, I would say, slightly darker in colour. This is closer to the lager colour, I would say. Nose. Oh, First one that's not had the malt nose come through. That's a hop nose. That is a hop nose. That's good. Yep. These two had that. That one was definitely malt. Sweet malt coming through. Sweet malt was on there with a hop nose. This one, hop nose. Right. I'm interested in this one now. Let's see what it's like. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. So it's saying English hops, balanced hints of spice and tangerine, gentle toffee finish. Not for me. That's got a lot of bitterness in it. A lot of bitterness. The IBUs on this one must be a bit higher than the other ones. This has a lot of bitterness in there. Again, I'm going to stand by what I was saying. You can feel the thinness of the beer. Alcohol adds a bit of, I would say, texture to the beer. This is thin. I can feel that it's thin, but the nose is great. The nose does not give away that it's alcohol free. And that flavour, it's thin, but the bitterness comes in and it's deceptive. That bitterness changes entirely the feel of that beer. Yeah, I actually prefer both of those to that, but that one is probably could deceive someone on the alcohol front. That's not what I'm getting at, but I mean, if you wanted to feel like you're drinking something alcoholic, that is the closest at the moment. Right, we're going on to the hoppy pale ale now. So we're moving up a gear into the glass again. Try and do a slowish pour to begin with. This is looking quite light indeed. Very light. So you can, I hope I can hold up and show it. This is lighter than that one. Is it lighter than the lager? Yes, this is the lightest of them all so far. Very light. Hop nose there. Definite hop nose. I forgot to double check. I assume this one was 0.0, but it's 0.5. So 0.3, 0.0, 0.5, 0.5 as well on this one. And does it say? So citrus and floral aromas, dry bitter finish. So this is going to be more bitter than that one? Let's find out. Definitely hop nose on there. Let's get in. Citra. Definite citra in there, which is why they say citrus notes. Yeah, there's a lot of citra in there. Not, yeah, there probably is that dry bitterness. I agree with that. Yeah, dry bitterness at the end. Not as bitter as this one. There's a dry bitterness. It still feels thin in the mouth, of course. Something about it. I'm not sure what. There's something about it. I like it, but I'm not. It's entirely weird. I think I prefer these two still to that one and that one. Yeah, it tastes like my Citra beer before it had fermented, which was nice, but not as good as beer. All right, we're going to move on to the classic IPA, which is 0.5% as well. Let's crack this open and let's pour this in. All right, this is looking darker than the pale, the hoppy pale, definitely darker. It's more on line with the traditional that I've got here, or the organic, I should say, actually, and traditional, yeah. Right, let's nose it. Right. Again, it feels like they've chucked in Citra in this. All right, so it's saying a light amber body, hoppy notes of pine and spice, tropical aroma. They probably do say the hops in here, but I haven't looked to see what. Let's try it. Oh, no. No. There's a lot of carbonation in this one. A lot of carbonation, more carbonated than all the rest, even though that one went all the way up. It's very carbonated. Wow. Just runs right over the tongue, dries the tongue out, or dries the mouth out. Grassy. Yeah, pine. I'm not sure on this one. That's not to my liking. No. Sorry. Just that beer is not to my liking. There is definitely a lot of grass and pine in there. It is doing what it says, but not to my liking. Right, I've left what could be the best or the worst till last. Dark and rich stout. Right, lid off. I've not had good experiences with alcohol-free stouts, so let's see. Pardon me, burping. Lots of carbonation in the beers. Wow. Let's get a nose on it. Wow. Okay. So that smells like a malt extract beer. This smells like your malt extract before you pour it into your my pinter or your brewing bucket. Oh dear. Very malty. I think I know what it's going to be like, but let's not prejudge it. Let's go in. No. Dark and rich, I get why they call it that. Balanced and smooth roasted malt base, chocolate aromas, hints of vanilla. It is just malt. Just malt. That's not stout, it's malt. That's like me taking a malt extract, heating it up and diluting it, and then just bottling it rather than fermenting it. That's what it tastes like. This tastes like my malt extracts. When I take a hydrometer reading and I taste it afterwards, that's what this tastes like. I would drink it, just because I've got a sweet tooth. But no. I've got progressively worse as I went through this, haven't I? Oh dear. Right. Do I order these from my favourite to my worst? Well, there we go. I can understand why this has won awards. Let's go back to the beginning quickly. Nose is, do you know what? Now I'm smelling it. It smells a bit like it could be a metallic-y lager in a can, which is fine. Got a bit of that very sweet malt in there. Warmed up a bit, so it tastes like warm lager, but thin. That's nice. This may be my favourite. It's because it's sweet. That's what it is. It's very sweet. Right, prepare for a bit of bitterness. Yeah, the bitterness is straight there. This one could be the most deceptive. That's what I think. This one could feel to people that it is higher than it is because of that bitterness. This one, I think it just misses with the Citra there. It just misses the notes that I'm expecting. No. No. And then camera died there. Sorry, overheating again as always. And lastly, a taste of the stout. Very malty. 0% as well, 0.0. I don't know if I mentioned that. Surprisingly for me, I think the 0.3 and the 0.0 over here are the best compared to these are 0.5% and that's 0. I don't mind that. I can actually drink that, but it's not something I drink a session. I just drink it. It's tasty. So yeah, surprisingly, that and that are ones that I could find very drinkable, and they're the lowest ABV ones out of them. I've calculated that all of these, if I drank them all, 330ml, 0.6 of a unit. Wow, going in big time with these. But that has been Nirvana Brew & Co. This has been the UK Brewery Project. Until next time, take care.